Well, today I'm in the Alabama Hills area, and I've come up here to photograph a subject I tried to photograph last year, but the light wasn't great and I figured I'd just come back another time. So that's what I'm doing here. Right now I'm just kind of setting up the shot. It's actually a morning shot, so I like to set up the camera, figure out the composition, what lens I'm going to use, and all that stuff. Because, you know, 5 a.m. I'm probably not thinking straight, so it's good to do that sort of thing ahead of time. But as far as the weather goes, we had a pretty big storm hit California the last couple of days. So the mountains are just covered in snow, which is nice. And tomorrow morning, I do think that there's supposed to be a moonset behind the range here. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually going to make it into the photo, but that'll be pretty cool just to see. So anyway, I'm going to get my stuff packed up and I'll see you in the morning. All right, well, it finally got light enough for me to actually focus on the subject. I think I've got everything composed. Right now there's a little bit of sun. It's starting to poke through, but there's a bunch of clouds on the horizon. So yeah, I've got my 210 millimeter on, and I'm gonna shoot this with no filter, and then as the sun comes up, I'll probably start adding either a yellow or an orange filter. I am going to be shooting black and white on this scene, and that's kind of going to be my focus for the majority of the year, so it'll be something a little different. Still going to shoot some color, but I am going to focus more on black and white. This is going to be a 13-second exposure on FP4. And I've got an orange filter on the front of the lens. feeling pretty good about the exposures I made this morning. So I'm just getting my gear packed up. I'm gonna head back to my truck, have some breakfast, and hopefully find another subject to photograph tomorrow morning. Well, I noticed the clouds were starting to roll in pretty thick, so I checked the weather report, and it looks like we're expecting rain here for the next 3 days, starting this evening. So I think my best bet is to actually break camp and head into Death Valley and photograph the rest of the trip there. I think they're expecting a little bit of weather, but only maybe 1 day of rain, and that's like a 20 to 30% chance. So yeah, I'm gonna get my camp here packed up, and I'll see you over there. So I found this kind of interesting assortment of rocks here that have fallen from this hill behind me. But if you stand in the right position, you can kind of get them so that none of them interact with each other, but they're all kind of evenly spaced throughout the frame. I think this might be a good location for a morning shot. Sun will be coming up from over there. The mountains in the background will be nicely lit. Should make for a good lighting situation. Once the first shot would be when the sun hits the mountains, and then right when the sun comes over that peak and illuminates the rocks from the side would also be some interesting light. So I may come back here tomorrow morning and revisit this location if it's not raining, or just kind of mark it down and come back another day. We'll see. Yeah, so this location looks interesting. I think what I'm going to do is grab my camera and expose some sheets this evening on this scene. I think with the sun setting on this direction, it's going to light the mountain up that's in the background nicely. It's also reflecting in this little pool of water here. Plus it's got a lot of white around it, so I think this will be kind of nice in black and white as well. So I'm gonna go grab my gear and start setting up. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. It seems like the wind is slowly starting to fade away. I only have 2 more sheets with me, so I want to make them count. I'm just worried there's a cloud like right below the sun, and if I wait too long, I could miss the light. Right now the clouds are starting to fill in. Things are looking good, but it's all about like that perfect timing, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Well, it looked pretty good. The reflection in the pond was pretty nice, and the light's nice right now. Which one was that? That was 18. I always, when I have the option, I'll shoot the lowest number first, and then I'll shoot the higher number on the film holder. That way, if I take it out and I don't look, I remember, oh, well, this one's got both of them shot. So my last shot was obviously the higher number. Just a little tip. All right, well, things are just getting better and better. So I think if I expose one more sheet, that's my last sheet of black and white, at least that I have loaded. Oh boy, the light is getting too good. I'm just gonna make an exposure now. The clouds are looking great. This is gonna be my last exposure of black and white. And then I've got some color negative. And here we go. And that's it. The sun has gone behind the mountain. Now I'm going to flip this over. I've got some Kodak Ektar on the other side of this holder. And I'm gonna remove the yellow filter because that'll look a little weird with Kodak Ektar. Just want to make sure this car isn't in the photo. Okay, here we go. I just spent the last 5 or 10 minutes just kind of moving my tripod around, trying to get the perfect placement where these 6 boulders here have nice separation between each other and also fit in my frame nicely. So I think I'm pretty happy with how everything looks. So I'm just going to work on getting my critical focus done and then wait for the light. Just putting a number 15 deep yellow filter on this lens. You'll notice my front standard is tilted pretty far down, and that's because I'm trying to get the foreground rock here and the mountains in the background in sharp focus. I do lose a little bit of sharpness on the tops of these rocks, but when I stopped my lens down, everything looked pretty good. Overall, I didn't really get the light I was hoping for on this shot, but I've got a couple days of rain coming in, so I think I've done the best I can do this year. About 5 years ago, I was actually here standing just right over there, photographing the valley when it was completely flooded. And I was using 800 millimeter on some Portra 160. It's actually one of my favorite photographs I've taken from up here. So pretty interesting that I only maybe 20 feet from this that other photo. Didn't even see this one. But anyway, I'm gonna pack up my gear and head back home. Thanks for coming along with me on this trip, and I should see you in maybe a few weeks.